Hi Kasara, just viewed your video. Nice job with your content. These chapters were pretty emotionally charged, I thought, and you did great with your information, presenting the timeline of things that happened, and don't really have a whole lot of question really about that. I do feel like the interesting thought concept that as the freed slaves migrated north, like you talked about, that they were competing with jobs from the immigrants or with the immigrants, and how the white Americans felt that the white Europeans would do better, be better, were better than the African Americans is still puzzling. And how they set up such hoops to jump through for the African Americans to vote. They had all this criteria. They had to prove that they had home ownership, and they had the taxes, and just very crazy hoops to jump. But you did a great job with all of that information. I kind of question why the white Americans, if they were moving north and the North won the war to free the slaves and make everyone equal, why that became an issue. Again, I just don't understand the thought process there. The song that bothered me the most was the same song that bothered you, the Strange Fruit song. I totally could barely watch the video with all of the lynchings and the hangings that were part of that video. I think that I'm just kind of speechless on that one. I think that came from a time that was not that long ago in our history, and again, that is mind-blowing to me. I mean, I was born in the 60s, and so that was all going on during my early childhood. I have no remembrance of that, of course, but thankfully grew up in Lawrence, which is now considered pretty liberal, and I think, I'm told that there were some issues in Lawrence around the race. They had race riots, so to speak. So, not out of my, lifetime these things happened, and but to call another human being strange fruit just is beyond words to me, and the way that they portrayed that, and the ugliness of that, just the pure ugliness of that. The other song, or the other poem by Langston Hughes, I Too in America, I Too Am America. I felt like, at the beginning of that, it was, he was claiming a right to feel patriotic, but then he kind of alludes to that racial segregation, and then at the end, when he's talking about eating in the kitchen, and they'll see how beautiful I am, and they will, and be ashamed. I Too Am America. That his thought is that, or his hope is that someday there will not be race, that things will change, and maybe race won't be an issue anymore, and we will be ashamed. And I agree. I'm ashamed, to be honest. I cannot believe that anybody deserves the type of treatment that there's no people that deserve the treatment that the slaves endured. And I am a woman of faith that believes that every human was created in the image of God, and so that this all makes no sense when you look at it from that perspective, at least in my eyes. So would love your thoughts about that. Good job, as always, and I will see you later. Thanks.